Here is your 3A playoff list for Division II by district. 4-6 versus 4-6. We were just talking about Rio Hondo and Zapata meeting at La Jolla. The winner will take on either Sinton or Lytle, most likely Sinton. Port Isabel at Raymondville for the second time this season. They will play at San Benito's Bobby Morrow Stadium. The winner will take on Orange Grove or Pearsall, most likely Orange Grove. But let's talk about this right now. Stephen, Port Isabel and Raymondville, they met earlier. It got called at half because of excessive rains and lightning. It ended up 14-0. Port Isabel was in control of that game, though, were they not?
Yeah, they were completely dominating on all facets of the game. It wasn't even close. But, I mean, obviously there was a lot of rain. Those aren't going to be the same conditions this Friday, so Raymondville will have a chance, but, man, PI.
Man, PI is it. Exactly. That's what I have to say. Joe, this Raymondville team they had that great streak where they beat Sinton and they came back and they beat Zapata and they almost beat Kingsville, but they haven't looked as good these last couple of weeks.
No, and the key there was they came back. They came from behind a couple of different games, and that got everyone excited about them. You get behind against Port Isabel, they're going to grind you into the ground. You better come out and that high-octane offense and better put a bunch of points on the board early.
All right, really quickly, because I don't think we need to explain anymore. Your pick, PI Raymondville?
Yeah, Raymondville's had some real problems against the run this season, too, so Tarpons.
Port Isabel the next 6 times you ask me.
Port Isabel, yeah, I'll go with that as well. And speaking of that, Joe, the team that beat them last year, Belleville, not in that bracket this year.
Stars are aligned. Stars are aligned. And we were talking about this mid-season that it looked realistically like all the good teams and the Division I teams were going to be out of the way. Now look out for Orange Grove. We know that. But, boy, it looks good.
The Bulldogs, notorious Valley Killers, but that would be a great game in the second round. We're jumping ahead that far because we're not coaches. La Gruya came so close to a district title on Friday night. They were ahead with just a few minutes left against Kingsville, who is a really tough team with some really great athletes. But, I mean, La Gruya was hanging with them. Troy Trias had an unbelievable game. Ray Pena Blanca is a great senior quarterback. They come up just close. So this is the way 3A Division I looks. With La Gruya taking on La Feria, that game will be Friday, and it will be at Sanchez Stadium in Rio Grande City. The winner will take on most likely Ingleside. Hidalgo will take on that Kingsville King team that won the district. And your thoughts on La Gruya and the Gators, Stephen, and what they were able to do this year, because, I mean, they were that close.
Yeah, I mean, that Kingsville loss really summarizes their season. I mean, they were inches away in all 3 of their losses. They could have easily been 10-0 this year had a few things gone their way. They're a really good team. Abel Gonzalez has really morphed that program into its identity in 4 years. They're a very excitable group. You know, they're a group that just likes to be out there on the field. It's not about winning for them. They just like playing football. And I think emotionally, they got what it takes to make a deep playoff run. I mean, I think this team will go 3 rounds deep, but La Feria is a tricky first-round matchup for them. That's a team that was up 14-0 on them in the regular season matchup at halftime. Gruya had to come back to win it, and that was Gruya's first win against the Lions ever. So La Feria is going to be hoping to restore order to that game.
But it's at the same place. It's at Rio Grande City again. I think La Gruya won by 4, or was it 3? I think 3, 24-21. Your pick on this game?
Well, because La Gruya feeds off of that momentum and off of that home field advantage, I'm going to give them the pick.
All right, your thoughts, Stephen?
Yeah, I still like Gruya, but they got to show up, especially defensively. If Eric Cuervo gets going, he could give them some problems.
All right, I'm going to go with La Gruya as well in that one. We are coming right back on Sunday Sports Extra. Going to talk 4A football. Just how close was Roma? How did Mission veterans make it without their top quarterback? We'll talk about that. Plus, we're also talking about Mercedes, rock solid against Mission. It's all when we come back.